500,000 students across Ontario will be learning in their classroom. This is important progress and only been made possible by the vigilance and the sacrifices all of us have made to stop COVID-19 from circulating within our communities. As kids return to learning in person, my top priority remains the health and the safety of Ontario students, school staff, and their families. On this point, I've been uncompromising. Throughout the pandemic, schools have remained safe and kids have continued to learn. This is not by accident, but rather is a reflection of the comprehensive investments and the measures we have put in place following the expert advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health. Furthermore, on the advice of medical leaders and with our commitment to continually add layers of prevention onto our schools, we have strengthened measures for when kids return, including enhanced screening when students and staff walk through their school doors in the morning, mandatory masking and better quality masks for students in grades 1 to 3, including when outdoors if physical distancing cannot be maintained, and province-wide targeted asymptomatic testing using both rapid and lab process tests based on the specific circumstance and as decided by the local public health unit. When we first launched targeted asymptomatic testing for students, staff, and their households, we started in parts of the province which at the time had among the highest numbers of active COVID cases in Toronto, Peel, Ottawa, and York Region. Under this initiative, 63 schools participated and approximately 9,000 tests were completed with approximately 200 new cases identified. Through these tests, we found that under 2% of all student cases came back positive, and the majority of positive cases were found in those outside of the school. Today, I'm announcing that we are expanding this testing approach to other areas of the province for schools and childcare settings experiencing either outbreaks or high case counts, or if they happen to be within high priority communities. The first phase of this testing has made it easier to track and prevent the spread of COVID-19 within our schools by helping to identify cases early, to inform public health decisions, and ultimately to manage any outbreaks. The Ministry of Education, along with our partners in the Ministry of Health and Ontario Health, are continuing to work with school boards and health partners to support this testing where it is needed province-wide. Access to robust asymptomatic testing has been offered to each and every public health unit that is welcoming students back to class. And we will continue making this offer as we bring even more students back. In addition to expanding testing and other safety protocols, today we are allocating an additional $381 million in targeted funding to go even further in protecting the health and safety of our students. This funding will invest $50 million for improving air quality and ventilation within our schools, such as additional portable HEPA filters and upgrades to provide immediate improvements to ventilation for our students and staff. $65 million additional dollars for health and safety costs, such as board-funded or transportation-related PPE or staffing. $62 million for summer learning supports, including core programming and upgrading courses, special education and mental health programming, reading and math programs, STEM summer programming, and supports for underserved students in our province. We're also announcing an additional $10 million to support mental health of all students and the support of the implementation of the new School Mental Health Ontario Action Kit, funded and additional funding for Kids Help Phone. We're providing $60 million for online learning, including elementary remote learning course packs, $80 million for student devices such as more laptops and tablets, and much more. And with this additional funding, Ontario schools are being provided with more than $1.6 billion in critical supports to protect the health and safety of our students, of our staff, and of all Ontario families. Now, I've spoken to you about how many schools are experiencing short-term staffing issues because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, despite what some will say, there are not tens of thousands of teachers available to enter our schools and educate our students. To ensure we keep distancing in our classroom, we need to be creative. To provide immediate access to potentially thousands of young, capable, innovative educators, we have worked with the Ontario College of Teachers over the past weeks to introduce a new temporary certificate for eligible teacher candidates that will allow school boards to employ eligible teacher candidates when there are no occasional teachers available from their current lists. This is an important initiative that will benefit students in schools across the province and provide valuable work experience for the future leaders in our education system. Crucially, it means that we will meet our staffing needs and will be able to keep our schools open. At the heart of our public education system is a shared responsibility to ensure the success of all students. That's why our government remains firmly committed and focused on providing school boards, students, and families with the resources they need to stop the spread of COVID-19. As Minister will do, and our government will do everything within our power to ensure that schools continue to be safe, healthy spaces for our students, teachers, and all staff. Thank you. I'll take some questions.